Hi everybody, this is Real Forex Strategies 247, another class on how to trade the Forex market. And I am empowering lives with the power of foreign exchange. In our former class, we talked about what Forex is, the history of Forex, raw market movements, trend line, how to use trend line, how to draw trend lines, reversal patterns, difference between uptrend, downtrend, and consolidation. In other words, sideways trend. In this video, we'll be talking about support and resistance. Like my former video, I always like to place an illustration of what we're going to be talking about on the first screen. So right here in this first screen, you can see there's a chart. There's a chart right here. I'm just going to zoom it close, and so that everyone can see the screen clearly. Now, this screen is an illustration of what we are going to be talking about today. On this screen, you can see live market, and you can see two white lines. Now, there's one line above and one line below price movement. Now, this line above, let me quickly get my pen to change the color to a brighter color. Alright, done. Now this line above, as you all can see it, is what we call resistance. We're going to be talking about resistance and support today, how to draw them. Like I posted on my WhatsApp status, and I told to all those who view, you guys already know what we're going to be learning today. This class is all about support and resistance, how to draw supports, how to draw a resistant line on your chart. And it's very, very important to know how to use all these tools. They are going to aid you in your Forex journey. Okay, let me delete this real quick. So what we see here is resistance. That line is resistance, and you can see that it's above price action, above. And we can see another line down here. So this line is what we call support, and you can all see that this line is below price action. Yes, price action is also price movements. It's still the same. So price action, price movement. You get used to all these words when you are really into trading. There are words that you get to know. So that is what we're going to be talking. That is all we're going to be talking about today. And I want to be very, very fast about this, because many people complain about the timing and how long the last video was. And even though you can still use your night's plan to watch them if you think the video is very, very long, and it doesn't cost a lot to do that. But if you can watch them in the daytime, that's perfect. You can also do that also, that you're able, whenever you are chanced, that's when you should watch it, when you can focus and really learn and take notes. If you want to take note, if you're someone who grabs things without taking note, then feel free. So this is all we're going to be talking about today. So we're just going to dive into that right now. So this is Real Forex Strategy 247. Now, to the next slide. So this is a run through all we're going to be talking about today, right? This is everything, and we're going to be talking about what is. I'll change my pencil real quick. I need something that can be on both charts. Let me choose this. Okay, I don't want to keep changing. Okay. All right. So we're going to be talking about what is support and resistance, and we're going to be talking about how to draw support and resistance line. We're going to be talking about how to spot mini support and resistance in a trend. We're going to be talking about when to buy or sell when price is at support and resistance. There are price action that you must use in selling or buying when price has got into your resistance. We're going to be talking about different ways to draw support and resistance. I'm going to be dishing out the first way, and when I take you to the live chart, you're going to be getting how to draw the first way to draw support and resistance that actually works for me, right? That works for me very well. I'm just going to be showing you, and when we get to this one here, I'm going to be showing you another way. So and we're going to be talking about importance. I think this we will know about this. No need to really dive into this one because I'll be talking about how important it is when I'm talking about rest. Okay, so let's just dive into that real quick. So next slide. What is support and resistance? As you all know, like I showed you in the first chart, support and resistance are strong places on a chart where price reached in the past and was unable to break it. Instead, it reversed back and trended towards another direction. Now, there's a reason why I use the word another direction. Now, if a price bounces off a support or resistance, there are two ways it can go. It can go sideways or it can go up or down. Now, that's the reason why I use towards another direction, and I didn't use down or up. So once it bounce off a resistance, it can bounce down or it can go sideways. So you just keep that in mind. It happens in trading. Trading is a very huge market, so we can decide what happens to the market. Moving on, resistance. Now we're going to be talking about resistance, and I'm going to be it's the definition of resistance. I'm going to be talking about that. Now, resistance are found above current price action. They are placed above where price bounced off and started trending towards another direction or trending down, right? That is what resistance is. If it bounces off a resistance, it can also trend sideways or it can also consolidate. In other words, it doesn't have to trend down, right? It doesn't have to trend down, but it always trend down. But it can also trend sideways, that is consolidate or get into a range. These are words for sideways market. Now, if a resistance gets broken, it means that price action is now trading above it. It automatically means that that resistance becomes a support in the future. I'm going to be going into a whiteboard real quick. I'm going to be explaining what this sentence means. I'm going to be talking about what it means so that you get the picture. Now, if a resistance gets broken up, it means that price action is now trading above it. It automatically means that that resistance becomes a support in the future. Let's quickly get into that real quick. Let me go to my whiteboard. Okay, so what that actually means is, for example, we are at resistance, right? We okay, let's just do this. Okay, so we are at resistance, right? So what that sentence actually meaning, okay, for example, this is resistance and price are bouncing off of it, it's bouncing at a very, very strong point, right? Very, very strong point on the chart. Very, very strong. Now price is bouncing off of it. If the price action breaks this, now you remember this was a resistance. It was a price was trading below it. Now the price has broken this strong resistance up. What this automatically means is if the price retraces back to this same resistance, this resistance will automatically become support. And you will notice that when price gets here, price will start bouncing off of it, and that confirms that this former resistance is now a support. And remember, support trades are lines placed below the price action. Let me just quickly go into what support is. I'm going to make this same illustration and so you get it perfectly. Go back to, okay, now we're talking about support, right? This is support. We're talking about support. So what is support? Support are found below current price. Support are lines, right, found below current price action. They are placed below where price bounced off and started trending up or sideways. I believe you get that. Now, if a support gets broken down, it means that price action is now trading below it. It automatically means that that support becomes a resistance in the future. Now let me go back to my whiteboard and perform the illustration. Okay, so I took a quick break there. Someone was in my attention. So let me just go onto my whiteboard and just do this real quick. Now you get what support is, right? Now let me just do the illustration. So this is support, right? I drawn a line, and because prices have been bouncing off of that line for a very long time, in the past, right? So now it's trending up, and coming down to touch that price action. It has been happening like that in the past, right? So if this support, right, gets broken down, right, like this. Now you remember this is a support, and it gets broken down like this. Now it automatically means that this support in the past, when price retraces up to meet with this support, it automatically becomes a resistance. It automatically becomes a resistance. So it automatically becomes resistance when it retraces, just like how resistance can become a support. Same thing with support, it can also become a resistance, and price breaks it down, retraces back to this former support, it automatically becomes resistance. That's rules that guides the forex market. It might seem so straightforward, but it happens. Like, some people just can't understand this fact, but that is what price movement in forex actually does every time, even when it's trending, right? Even when it's trending down, right? For example, when it's trending down, you can see that this was support. It got broken down, it retraced back, automatically it turned to resistance. That's on a downtrend, I'm showing you. Now this is another support again. Support, it broke it, a retrace, that this automatically becomes a resistance. So what this means is I'm going to show you the different type of a trend line you can use a trend line as a support and resistance also. It doesn't have to be a straightforward line like that, right? For example, this is resistance and this is support, right? um, the support and resistance with a trend line when the market is trending, right, is like this. If the market is trending up, let's just do a quick illustration, okay, versus when the market is trending down. Now, like we discussed in the former class, we talked about how to draw trend line. Now, viewing this illustration now, you definitely know that when the market is trending up, you place your trend line below price movement. Now, this this low price, this line you place below, you can also make use of it as support. Apart from the main support, so, little support we see here, that also can be support. And when the trend line gets broken down and you draw your trend line again going down, this line also can be resistance. Why is this line support and this line is resistance? Well, because this line is below price movement, while this line is above price movement, vice versa. You can see how everything just matches up, because price is trending above this line, it is support. Because price is trending below this line, it is called resistance. That's just support and resistance. Now those are different type of resistance and support. Let me clean this off. I think we understand what support and resistance is right now. We know what it is. So let's just move on and go to our next topic. So we already dealt with what is support. Now we're going to how to draw support and resistance line. So I'm going to be taking you to a live chat right now, and I'm going to be giving you an illustration. Like, I'm going to be placing lines. I'll show you how to draw lines, that your support and resistance, so that you'll be able to, it serves as a guide, right? It serves as a guide. And so when you're trading, you need all these lines. So let me just quickly do that real quick. Take you to the live chat right now. Okay, so here we are on a live chat. This is my live chat, right? This is a live chat. I like using the chart with the dark background. It makes me see the market more. It brings out the candlesticks. There are some people that actually prefer a white background, but I prefer a black background. So now you can see a bunch of lines on the chart. You can see, and you're wondering how did that get there, right? And how did all this line get there, right? All these lines, why is it there? Why is it there? And I'm going to be showing you why all these lines are there and how I draw them. I have nothing to hide. This has worked for me, and I want it to work for you. It is very easy the way I draw this line. Some other people have different ways of drawing their support and resistance line, but I have my own particular. I discovered this by myself, right? How I use my support and resistance, how I draw them. I'm going to be taking you to the monthly time frame. I use the monthly time frame to put my support and resistance line everywhere. So let me just go to the monthly time frame. This is the monthly time frame. I'm going to be removing all these lines, right? I'm going to be removing all these lines. I'm going to be explaining why they are where they are right now. Let me remove them real quick. Okay. You see how easy it is to put all this line together. So what I do personally, no, I don't know every other trader, how they place their, how they draw their resistance and support line. But mine, I draw it like this. Now I check for where price on the monthly chart. Now you have to get this. I do this only on the monthly chart. Now I go to where price, I just highlight where price turned in the past, where price has turned in the past, where price came and bounced up, where price got to and bounced down, where price came to bounce down, where price came to bounce up, where price came to bounce down, where price came to bounce down, bounce up. Now all these key areas, those are the places where I place my my support. For now, this would be a support because it bounced. A price movement is above it, but this will be a resistance because price movement is below it. So let me just quickly place my lines, and I'm going to so that you would see how I do it. Real quick, let me delete this. Okay, so I will be bringing out my horizontal line tool, and I'm going to be placing it on all those areas where I I pointed out before. I'm going to be placing all these horizontal lines there. Okay, more lines, more horizontal lines. Just place it where price have something on. All right, more lines, need more lines. Now you see how it corresponds with each other. We can see here, for example, we can see here that when I place this line here, it corresponds with this one here, corresponds with this one here. When I placed this lower line here, it corresponds with this one here, and it corresponds with this one here. So that's how it is. Those are strong areas where price actually bounced out of in the past, and it's bouncing out of those areas now. So let me quickly put all the lines together. Okay, more lines. I need more lines on the charts. Need more lines on the charts. Okay, so I place this one on here, and I need like two more lines, and place one. Okay, we can see a little bounce. You can see a little bounce here. You can see a little bounce around this section here. That's why I placed that line there. That's why I placed that line there. This section here. That's why I placed that line there. And I'll place another one above here, right? Above here, and make it align with price movements. So let me just do that real quick. I need one more line. So I'll be taking so this is where I said I was going to place the last line. But we also have another one up to the, so let me just get one more line and place it up there. Okay, I think we are done with placing all the line. Now you see how the line just looks so beautiful on the chart. And I'm going to be taking you down to the lower time frame. I'm going to be taking you down to the daily, to the 4 hours, and to the 1 hour, and you're going to see how prices have bounced off of all these places where I placed my line, and you're going to get it. Let me take you down to daily first. You see, oh, mistakenly move this line. Okay, now when I as soon as I scroll, you'd see areas where price actually bounced off of the lines, right? You'd see where price has bounced off of those lines in the past. Yeah, we can see one here, bounced down, bounced down, bounced up, bounced up, bounced down. Now it has broken it here. Now that this this that support, that resistant line now is going to be a support in the future. That's the beauty of it. uh, let me take you. You see, we can see how the lines work, how prices are bouncing are bouncing are bouncing where those lines are, right? They are bouncing now. This has broken this up. It has become a support in the future. That's the beauty of everything. Taking you down to a lower time frame. I'm going to be 4 hours, and you're going to be now you would see price movement bouncing. I don't need to pinpoint them anymore, because you can just see how price um, respect those areas where those lines are. And I place all these lines on the monthly. Let me just show you this. Now you see, now this was a resistance before, right? This was a resistance before when price was below it. Now it broke it up right here. It broke it up, and this former resistance is now support. It has now become a support. It is now below price, and it's now a support. This is a real life chart. I'm not messing anything up here. This is a real life chart. This is weekend. That's why price are not moving. Market has closed. We only trade from Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sundays, no market movement. So we can see all this. We can see the support. We can see this resistance up here. If that resistance gets broken up, then it becomes a support in the future. Exactly what I told you before. And take this. Let's move on. Let me take you down to the 1 hour and see if we have something on there. I'll take you down to the 1 hour. And we're going to check lines that we placed, and we're going to see our price movements just bounce out of it. Now this one was trending up, and it broke it partially, right? It broke it partially, but this is a very, very strong area, because we have this was a resistance. When it broke it up, it becomes support. But we have another resistance up here in the with this line up here. Now if the price breaks down again, it automatically becomes a resistance. Okay, let me just do this illustration again. It was a resistance, price broke it up, it became a support. Now price came down. Instead of bouncing up, it didn't bounce up. Since it broke it back down, this line remains a resistance, because price is still trading below it. Assuming this price action bounced from that resistance, then this line will keep its spot as a support. But since it did not bounce off, it remains a resistance, because price is now below it. Yeah. So this is the 1 hour chart. So let's move on from this then. So now we know how I draw my support and resistance line, how to draw it, where to draw it, right? Let me just so we draw the line on the monthly. We pick spot where price turned in the past, and we just placed our line there, and it matches on every other time frame. There are strong areas. So let's move on to the next topic. Now, as we all know, we've dealt with these two already. So now, how to spot mini support and resistance in a trend. How to spot mini support and resistance in a trend. I should use my whiteboard for this. I will use a whiteboard for this, right? Let me just quickly put that whiteboard together and okay. So, how to spot mini support and resistance. I'm just going to be doing the illustration. I think I'm going to take you to a live chart. I'm going to show you the illustration I made here. I'm going to show you how it is on the live chart. Now let me just dive into that real quick. Okay, so in an uptrend. Now we're doing this for an uptrend, right? Uptrend. So on an uptrend, we know we have lower highs, higher highs, lower highs, higher highs, lower highs, higher highs, lower highs, and higher highs. Now this is higher high, this is lower high, like we explained in the former video. So how to spot mini support and resistance on a trend. That's what we're going into. Let me just quickly take this off. Now, as we can see, as we all know, supports are found below price movement. Resistance are found above price movement. This was formerly a resistance and this was a support. When price movement broke this resistance, it automatically, when price retraces back, it automatically, this former resistance now becomes the new support. Now we have another resistance. This is for an uptrend. Now we have another resistance. This is a resistance now. Now when price movement bounced off of this support and breaks this new resistance, it automatically, when price retraces back, it automatically becomes support. Now we have a new resistance. That's the beauty of it. We have a new resistance. Now this resistance, now this price movement has broken this resistance down, it automatically becomes a new support. It was a resistance before, now it's a new support. That's how a price action is on an uptrend. Let me do one for downtrend. Now we know what downtrends are. That means the the market movement is trending downwards. So let's just have that here. So I'm just going to be making an illustration with this. Same thing with the uptrend, same thing it is with a downtrend. Now you know this is resistance. This is resistance. Now, and this was support before, because price was trending above it. The moment price breaks this down, retrace up, this former support becomes a new resistance, and we have a new support in this place, right? This is a new support. When price trends and breaks this support again, this support automatically becomes a resistance, and price goes back and touch it as a resistance. When price touches it as a resistance, price will bounce off of it and heads towards the new support. And when it heads towards the new support, if it breaks it, if it doesn't break it, it still remains support. But if it breaks it down and retrace back up, that former support is now in a new resistance where price can also bounce off of. We all get the view of market movement, how to spot mini support and resistance on a trend when a market is trending down and when market is trending up. We have the view of it. We can all see it. I will be taking you to a real life chart, and I'm going to be showing you an example of of this illustration. So for all this illustration, I'll show you on a real life chart. Let me go there real quick. Okay, so this is a live chart. This is an uptrend. This is an uptrend. We can see price moving from down here up. Now we're going to be seeing what I explained on with an illustration with the whiteboard right here, right now. So we see price trend up. This is a resistance, right? And let's just drag this resistance into the future. Let me delete this real quick. Okay, this is a mini resistance, right? Now we've dragged that resistance into the future. Now notice what price did. Price was trending up. This is a resistance. It bounced down out of that resistance because it's a strong resistance point. Now it came back up and bounced, and there was a reaction. It bounced a little bit downward. Remember, if it hasn't broken the resistance, it is not yet a support until it breaks it, just like how it broke it here. When it breaks it up like that, this former resistance now becomes a support. Now you can see that price is now trending above this former resistance. Now you see how price just bounced off of it right there. It bounced off of it once and came back and touched it for the second time and bounced up again. That is how price movement is. Let me delete this. And you can see right here too. Okay, this was a former resistance turned support. We can see another resistance here. We can see another resistance here. You can see how price trade touch it twice and break it here and retrace back to touch it. Let me zoom this chart closer. Okay. Now we can just see the illustration like this. Let me just show you one more. Now this was a resistance, right? It was trending up. This was also a resistance. It broke it. This resistance turns support. It bounces off of this resistance. It bounced down, then it breaks it up. This former resistance now becomes support. Now price retraces back and touches it. If we had to use a real life line, we'd notice that the line matches perfectly and it bounces off of this place and trends up. This is real market illustration. Like, this is how market movement is. These are mini support and resistance in the market. Mini support and resistance on. This is an uptrend, as we all know. Uptrend. Okay, so let's look for a downtrend. And we all know that your trend line, drawing it from down up, can also be a great support because price is trading above it. So let me look for a downtrend and show you an illustration with a downtrend also. Okay, so I found a mini downtrend. It's not that much, but it's going to be something now. I want you to take note. This is beautiful. I want you to take note of what happened here. Now, price was trending up, right? It was trending up. Now, notice how this was a support in the past. Now, notice how this price broke through it. You see how the price broke through this support. Now it is serving as a resistance. You see how price broke it down and retraced up. You can see how it bounces off of it again. You can see this former this new support was created here. We can see how when price bounces off of this resistance, it also broke this new support, right? This new support. When price broke it, it also retraced. This was a support and now it's a resistance. That's how market movement is. I love this. I love this. Now, if price doesn't break it, right? If price doesn't break it, like what happened here. Now, this was another support. You can see price trending up, came back to test it, did not break it, tested it twice. What happened? A mini resistance was here. What happened? Price broke this mini resistance up, and immediately market start to turn and go the other way. That is raw. That is market movement, and we know that on a downtrend like this, when you place your trend line, let me delete this. When you place your trend line, it can also serve as resistance. Why? Because the market is trading below it. This is the market and it's trading below that resistance. It's beautiful, right? Very, very beautiful. That is just market movement. That's market movement. Now we can see it with the live chart. Now let's go back and check for our next topic so that we'll be moving on. I'll delete this real quick. All right. Okay, so we have dealt with three so far, three topics. Now we are going to be learning when to buy or sell when price is at support and resistance. I'm going to run through this real quick. We all know that when a trend line gets broken up, it means the downtrend has stopped. When a trend is on a downtrend and you have a trend line going down, you know that that's a resistant line. A trend line going down is a resistant line, and when that trend line gets broken up, that resistant line is now invalid. When the resistant line gets broken, that trend line coming down is invalid, and market will now start to go up. Just like how if an horizontal line gets broken up, it automatically becomes support. The same way, if a trend line gets broken up, if a downtrend line gets broken up, it automatically becomes support in the future. I'll just run through it. I'm going to do that with a downtrend. I'm going to fix in a downtrend and I'm going to show you how it breaks it. For example, let me just use an illustration with a whiteboard real quick. Let me do that real quick. An illustration is always very, very important. So this is a whiteboard now. Now, what I was talking about, this is what I was talking about. Now, we are on a downtrend now, right? This is a downtrend, right? Now we have our trend line, right? It serves as mini resistance. Now, if this trend line gets broken up, this trend line has been invalidated. Now, that trend line is now invalid because it has been broken up. Now, what we'll be waiting for is price should retrace back down and continue on an uptrend. The same thing with an uptrend. The same thing with an uptrend. Let me delete this real quick. If price is trending up, trending up, trending up, trending up, right? And we have our trend line. If this market gets broken down just like this, all we'll be waiting for, this is a trend line, it gets broken up like that, all we'll be waiting for is for market to retrace back up and continue on that downtrend. It is very, very easy. That's just market movement. We remember what I talked about in our first class, how to enter, how prices shift from uptrend to downtrend. Now, if price breaks your trend line, it automatically means that you have to shift your position from buying to selling, because selling. So that's just it. Yeah, you when it breaks your trend line, you switch your position from buying to selling, because now price is trending up. When price is trending up, you buy. When price is trending down, you sell. We all know this. It's normal market movement. I need to make this stick. Okay. I'm not going to be using real charts because it's taking a lot of time to do that. Or should I? And let me just do this for the final time. Let me do this. Let me go check for a real life chart and see what we can do. Okay, so this is a real life chart. I'm going to be using this as an illustration for what we're going to be learning now. I'm going to bring out my trend line tool, right? This very moment, trend line, right? We're going to be bringing out trend line tool. Now I will draw that trend line on a downtrend right now. I'm going to draw a trend line on a downtrend. Let me just use this real quick. I'll just use this real quick. For example, this is just an example, right? So this market was trending down, right? Let's say it was trending down. We can see the movement, right? We can see it, we can all see it, but I like to illustrate with my pen tool every single time. So it bounced off of this place down, broke this support, so it's a downtrend. It came back up, bounced off of it, came down. It came back up, bounced off of it, came down, and it came back up, bounced off of it a little bit, then breaks it up. What happened immediately? The trend shift from being a downtrend into being an uptrend, and we can all see it. It's very, very glaring. We all see what happened when it broke this. When it broke this here, we will be looking for buy. Before we were selling from this other side when it was on a downtrend, but right now when it breaks this trend line, we'll be looking for buy. It goes the other way too. It goes the other way around too. It goes the other way. Now this mini uptrend, let me just use this as an illustration right now. This mini uptrend right now here, this mini uptrend, what happened? It was trending up, and use this illustration. It was trending up, And what happened to it? It gets broken down. And what else? What happens next? We start selling. When it broke it here, you sell. Look at it. It took us all the way down here. There are ways where a market moves, and there are other ways to enter a trade when it bounces off your support and resistance and starts trending down. There there are other price action except for your trend line. There are other price action to use in getting into the trade. I don't go lower than 1 hour. 1 hour upward, 1 hour to the monthly. Those are my time frame. If you go lower, uh, it's up to you, but it depends on the kind of trader you want to be. But my kind of trader, I don't go below 1 hour. 1 hour is my limit. So, continuation. I think I can look for another illustration on the chart. Now, let's use this. Let me go back down to the 1 hour, and I'm going to be using this as an illustration. Now, I remember I used this chart before, so I'm going to be bringing out my trend tool to explain this. What happened here? Now you can see that it got to um it got to a resistance, right? What happened when it got to a resistance? It broke this partial this resistance. It's a strong resistance. It's not a partial one. It's a strong resistance. It broke this resistance up. Instead of it becoming support and bouncing off of it, it didn't do that. Why? It broke a trend line. Now it broke it back down, and we know that when a resistance gets broken, it becomes a support when it bounces off of it. But if it breaks it back down, it automatically retain its status as a resistance. Now you see how it broke the trend line. Now you'll be looking for sell right here, and if you sold from here down, and you are a trader that is very, very patient, you'd see what I'll be showing you next right now. So imagine you bought from where imagine you sold from where I showed you. Now look at this trend. It kept going down, like it kept traveling down and down and down. It kept going down, 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 down. Let me show you. This is the daily chart. This is where we entered that market. This is where we entered that market. It was on a strong resistance level on the monthly. Now see where price took us from up here all the way down here, and this is nothing less than like 1,000 pips. It's about 1,000 pips. 1,000. That's a whole lot. That's a whole lot. 1,000 pips. So that's how to enter. I believe this live chat illustration has explained it all. Let's move on to our next topic. So right now we're going to move on into different ways to draw support and resistance, right? So at the beginning when I took you to a live chat, I showed you the first way how to draw a resistance. I took you to the monthly time frame, and I placed my line on areas where price is reversed in the past, So I placed my lines everywhere, and you could see how on the lower time frame price actually bounced out off of all these key places, key areas on the lower time frame. I'm going to show you another way. This is a second way to place your support and resistance perfectly. So this one we're not going to be using the monthly time frame. We're going to be using like the daily or the 4 hours time frame, and we're going to be placing our support and resistance, and I'm going to be explaining why we're placing our support and resistance where we are placing them. So I'm going to go back to the live chart. There will be nothing on that chart, and it will be on the 4 hours chart, and I'm going to show you how to place this second type of resistance. Now let me go real quick. So here we are on the live chart. There is nothing on this chart. It is totally clear. Yeah, you can see there is nothing. Okay, it's just a trade that I was in during the week, so it's still around that area. So there is nothing else on this chart. So now I'm going to be giving you an illustration. So when you want to draw this, the second way to draw a trend line, this way is kind of a little bit more technical. You have to pay more attention. That's why I use the other way, but this way is also good. You need to pay more attention with this other way. Now I'll be placing my support and resistance. You have to look for key areas when you want to place it. You have to look for areas where prices has bounced multiple times, where price has bounced out of, and you're going to place your resistant line on that area, right? You're going to be placing your resistant line on that area. Now remember where I pointed out key places where price has bounced off in the past. We can see that price has bounced how many times. We can see price bouncing here, bouncing here, bouncing here, bouncing here, and we all know that since price action is trading above this is a support, right? So this is how to draw this kind of trend line. You have to pay more closer attention to details. Now for the resistance with this same price, action, now I'm going to show you how I'm going to place my resistant line. I'm going to be pointing out some key areas like this, like this, like this, and there's one more there. And I'm going to be placing my line to touch. You have to make sure it touch all these key areas, right? For it to be valid, it has to touch key areas for it to be valid. Yeah, let me just do that real quick. Delete this. Bring out my horizontal line again, and place it on the chart, and okay, now remember all those key areas where I pointed out before at the top of the trend. Remember them. So I make sure that the line I place will touch every single one of it, right? Those key areas, I pointed this out, I pointed this out, and I pointed this out. Yeah, you see. Now if all these key areas gets broken up, it changes from becoming a resistance to a support. Now this is the other way to place your support and resistance on your chart. So let's move on to the next. It's very that this is, I don't want to waste more time on this, so I believe everyone can catch what I am explaining, how to place this second type of support and resistance line. Now moving on. So I have talked about 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now this is the last one here. So importance of support and resistance. In the course of this class, we all have seen how important support and resistance is. It serves as a guide to trading. You can see how important it is on an uptrend and on a downtrend. We can see how it breaks when a resistance gets broken, it retraces back and touches that former resistance and becomes a support when it bounces off of it. We used a live market to illustrate all this, right? We used a live market. So what I did with the whiteboard, I also gave an illustration with a real life market with my own personal chart. So we can see what support and how support and resistance is important, and how prices bounces off of this place majorly. Like you can see how I place my monthly time, my monthly how I use my monthly time frame to place my lines, my support and resistance. And we went to the went down to the 4 hours and the daily, and we saw price movement. We saw how it bounced off of all these lines multiple times, and when it broke it also came back to use that same line, that's former resistance, as a support. We all saw all this, and we made clear, I made clear that an uptrend line, trend line, can also be a support, and a downtrend line can also be a major resistance. I think that is all for this class. I believe all through the course of explaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we know now that it is very, very important to use support and resistance while trading. Okay, so this is the end of this class. If you have any question, please do well to ask me. On our next video, on our next class, I'm going to just do a short video of the platform we're going to be using to learn. I want everyone to download this platform. It's called MT4, and I'm going to be teaching us how to use this platform to trade. Right, we're going to be learning how to use this platform to trade. We're going to be using this platform to learn. Now there is on the platform there are demo accounts where we can use to learn how to trade. It will be a real life market, but it will be a virtual money. It will not be a real money. That's why it is called demo account. It's a demonstration account. How to trade. We're going to be using that demonstration account to learn how to trade. I'm going to be explaining it all on the next class. After that, I think I'm going to be talking about candlesticks and candlestick analysis, price action, how to enter a trade, and so on. So this is the end of this class. I hope everyone have a wonderful day.